Excellent.
We've gotten to be really good friends.
So where did
I should mention. So Tim, I was a fan of Tim watching his stuff,
Right.
and so I got, Tim and I sort of friended up on Facebook, and then we were like, I did a couple little cameos and some things Tim's in, and the funny thing is I did my feature, which is coming out soon, and it was literally Tim's idea. I came home after a 2-day shoot, first day of a 2-day shoot for doing more shorts, and I had a message from Tim, and he's like, "Look, I could do like 20 minutes of stuff for you, and you could build a movie around that." And so that's literally where the feature came from. It was Tim's idea. Nice. It's his fault.
Nice. Hey, it's nice to have the people around you who get you, who have an idea and they think to themselves, "Oh shit, I know who can do this." And then the partnerships and all of that I've seen, really, it's funny because I come from, prior to getting into, well, I've been doing this for a while, but I spent almost 4 years publishing. I'm still publishing, to a lesser extent, but primarily a horror publisher.
Now, see, that's something you and I share, because I published my first book almost 20 years ago, and then I started a publishing imprint, putting out lots of horror and science fiction books. So we share that.
Oh yeah, we had a good time with it, and there's a lot of bullshit and drama in the writing community, a lot of unjustified ego.
There's a lot of bullshit and drama in every community.
Oh, well, yeah, it's true. It's true. But I'll tell you this: I spent the last year or so doing autobiographies with professional wrestlers and actors and directors and stuff like that. And people who I went into these interviews assuming were going to be like divas, and they're the most laid back people you'd ever want to meet. And these kids who I was working with, these writers, haven't done, well, I swear it's my show, haven't done fuck all. And, it's like they expect to be treated like kings and queens. And it's like, do something first, impress me. I shouldn't have to. And I'll tell you, the beauty of working with the wrestlers above everybody else is you do not have to tell a professional wrestler how to go out and sell his product. They know.
Hey, if you can talk nice to Andy, he does a really good wrestler impersonation.
Oh God. I've been going to like wrestling shows for like 40 years. Is like I've met like everybody you could possibly meet. Yeah.
This past year we did books with Bill Eadie, who was Axe and Demolition. And congrats to Bill and Barry for their Hall of Fame induction this year.
Oh wow.
We did
long overdue.
Great.
Oh, absolutely. Gary Wolf, Pitbull from ECW, Ernest Miller. We worked with Doug Gilbert, who wrote an amazing book about his brother Eddie. We've got a book coming out from Robin Smith, because Rockin' Robin's got a hell of a story to tell. So it's been a fun time, and I'm still doing a little bit of horror books here and there, but I've kind of found myself now splitting my time between autobiographies and stuff and running a TV channel and trying to get horror folks to come together and make I got a plan, I got a goal. So I've got a short from you guys here. I want to go ahead and start this up.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about what the genesis of this project was.
Okay, so I started doing the short silent films. I do a horror hosting show where I'm Scary Gary, and every one of them starts off with a silent short, and then I do like a remix of it. Well, I was running out of horror silent shorts to use, so I thought, well, I'll just have to film my own. I mean, I was somewhat confident in being able to do it.
Sure.
I was not 100% sure. And I grabbed some people I thought could help me with it, and we put 5 together and then another 5, and we're going to shoot another 5 next month.
Wow. Nice.
So, and they're kind of cool because we do them. Originally, I was going to try to pass them off as pseudo as vintage shows. And then I'm like, you know what? I wanted sort of a wink nudge, wink wink.
Wink wink nudge nudge.
Yeah, really vintage. And then I thought, you know what? Let's just make them pseudo vintage. Let everybody know they're pseudo vintage. And we try to make them look like they came out of the 20s, but they don't, obviously.
But they're great though. Visually, you've got the style down. The music is it's tremendous stuff. Before we roll into it, just to tip to the Monty Python joke. I'll tell you one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me. I was at a play. My wife at the time and I had gone to see a play, and we're standing in line at the concession stand in the intermission. And when you're in a play or when you're at a play, when intermission's getting ready to end, there's a guy usually comes by and rings a bell. I didn't know that. This is the first time I had encountered that. So the guy walks through the lobby and he's ringing the bell. So I just said, "Bring out your dead." And the guy behind me in line did not miss a beat. And he went, "But I'm not dead yet." And I'm like, I turned around and I was like, "Sir, I'm buying your drink, man." so didn't miss a beat. Don't know, never saw the guy again in my life, but for that moment in time, it was pure joy. So this is the statement of Randolph Carter. So let's have a look. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
It's beautiful.
Phil Herman sings your praises, by the way, sir.
Oh,
yeah. I actually had a great phone call with Phil last night.
I love Phil.
A lot of people say that, and they're like, and I'm like,
Phil who?
I dig the guy.
That guy's a nobody. Please, I'm teasing. He's a legend. Yes.
Yeah.
And we there's, like I said, there's a lot of things cooking. So Andrew, tell me a bit about how you found yourself wrapped up in the whole horror world.
It honestly started. I was going to conventions for probably, I don't know, 15 years or so, and just meeting everybody, getting autographs, having fun. And I always wanted to do a horror movie. Like that was, I wasn't like trying to be, make it my career or anything, but
sure.
Once I signed on with a movie called The Dead Place, it stars David Howard Thornton. Did some stuff in that, and that should be out soon. And once I did that, I was like completely hooked. Like immediately after that, I got my next gig, and then another gig, and then another gig, and they just kept coming.
Awesome.
And now it's just like, it's like my life now. I love being on set. The camaraderie and hanging out with everybody it's so much fun to do.
Awesome. Tim, how about yourself?
When did I start?
How did you jump on the horror train?
A long time now. Same thing, or just stuff since when I was a baby, as we'll put it as my youth, and it's weird. A lot of the people, a lot of the people I work with still, are from my early days, early teens. It's really surreal and wonderful. But like Jeff Kirkendall, to name one. But we have a movie out right now called Kaleidoscope, and it's with filmmakers Joe Bignardi and Bruce Hollenbeck, who's also a prolific writer too. Right. And it was really, really weird in recent times for this film to be coming out and doing so well, but just to know that I've been working with those guys in particular for eons now, and it's just an amazing experience to still be hanging in there and enjoying what you do, and seeing everybody else doing so well and vibrant at the same time. It's fun. It's exciting. It's honorable. It really is. It is. It's surreal to be like, those guys and Jeff included. Jeff and I do a lot of stuff, obviously, with Mark Polonia and his son Anthony. as well, and some of those affiliates, but of late-ish times. But early on was definitely Jeff and Joe Bignardi and Bruce Hollenbeck is where a lot of us got our start, and been in multitudes of other projects elsewhere. But it's been a ride.
Excellent, and it's fun. That I mean, or at least it's
Absolutely.
it's a passion that you're able to feed and walk away from it and feel accomplished. That's kind of how.
Or part of a community or some kind of societal community.
Yeah.
I think we're either a tribe or a family. We're something.
I like tribe. I like.
You know what? I don't know. I don't think any of us have ever been on a Hollywood set, but there's something about an indie set. It's. I don't know. It really is just everybody's in there for the passion of it. Everybody's just, doing what they can, and it's something special. It's magical,
And it's a matter of especially with the indie world, you can be fearless. You can take those chances. You can, hang a woman upside down and cut her in half with a handsaw. I mean, you can take those chances. Because Hollywood.
You could.
They're not going to want to. It's a weird time for horror because horror. The funny thing is there's no new horror. There's always new horror. Horror is constant. What Hollywood's dishing out, some of it's okay. Some of it's that could have been. That's an interesting idea, but why did it have to be 2.5 hours? I'm sick of the Warrens. I grew up in Connecticut, so I know the Warrens.
Right.
I know the whole family. And it's I'm tired of those movies. And I look at films and this is going back like 15-ish years. Paranormal Activity.
Oh yeah.
Paranormal Activity had, and I still haven't seen the whole movie to this day. I really don't care.
Really?
I'm not a hauntings movie kind of guy.
Really?
Really? I've seen most of it. But
I've skipped through a lot of it.
Yeah, the thing that amazes me about that movie is you're talking about a $15,000 budget and an absolutely genius marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And I remember when that film was coming out, it was where should we go next? They had 2 prints and they're traveling around the country, doing these screenings. And I'm like, fucking genius. And the movie made what, 150 million or something like that at the box. I mean, come on. That's
there's been a few like that, but that's still amazing.
And
you got some goals, Gary. Let's do it.
The thing with indie is you don't have the budget, so you have to think about what story can I tell with the budget I've got, and how do I tell that story?
Yeah.
And you mentioned, of course, Mark Polonia because you've worked with him so much, Tim. But that guy doesn't apologize for his budgets. He just leans into it and just does it. Which, kudos to that guy. I love that guy's stuff. Well, I don't love necessarily every single movie he does, but I love his spirit, and I do love a lot of the movies.
Oh yeah. Well, it's when nowadays with this whole nonsense about it's cancel culture, you can't say that, you can't do that. This has to have a trigger warning. This has to have, and as a filmmaker, which I am not, I have not. I shot some really crappy shorts about a terrible ninja. They're out there on YouTube. Just look for the worst ninja. I don't hide from my past. They're awful, but they were fun. This is what happens when you have friends who do smoke as much weed as you do. You get high, you eat waffles, and you come up with stupid ideas. But it's one of those things where as a filmmaker, it is not a solo project. It's never you can't make a movie with one person behind everything.
Pretty much.
I went from writing books, which is a solo thing.
Exactly. That was exactly where I was headed. Because with books, they are solo projects until it's time to get them out into the world. And I tell indie authors all the time, I'm like, first off, don't apologize for your work. never apologize for your work. If that's the vision, if that's the story you have, you tell your damn story. Let me worry about, as your publisher, let me worry about the feedback. Because for me, as far as like the whole trigger warning thing, this is what they should say. It's a horror book. Strap in.
Right.
You know, because you don't know, you know, the movies get the rating system, and that's great. Again, not a problem in the indie world. But with the book world, it's like everything is just, people have gotten so goddamn sensitive about everything. I saw a picture, a screen cap the other day. Someone was watching Twister on broadcast TV or whatever.
Wow.
And Twister was rated PG-13 for extreme instances of nature.
My God.
What the fuck does that mean?
I was going to say with the books though, I can sort of see trigger warnings with books. Like I've got at least one book where there's a lot of alcohol use in there, and I'm like, I don't want somebody to go into that without knowing that, and suddenly it triggers them. You know, going from recovery, they're like, oh crap, now I want to drink, and they start drinking again.
Right.
There's certain traumas. What I found, when I started doing the last few books I did it with, somebody came up with this idea. I read it somewhere, and I thought, this is great. You put a page at the beginning. It says, there are some triggers for this book. If you want to read the trigger warnings, they're on the last page of the book. And then you can scroll to the last page of the book to see them. If you don't want to read them, don't. And just go ahead and read the book.
We did.
Yeah.
When I was primarily a publisher, we actually came up with a color-coded system. So people are like, oh, this is a red book. Well, red book has, you know, extreme violence, or, you know, this is a blue book. This is, you know, psychosis. Yeah. So just to let people know, because the problem is that I was finding was the thing with the trigger warnings is you're giving away elements of your plot.
Exactly.
And as a horror guy, I don't want elements of my plot. The way I write, I'm very, very specific. Almost everything that I do is horror that could take place in the real world. And there's a lot of realism behind it. And when I have a story that I wrote, it's 786 words. It took me 3 days to write it because the wording had to be exact. Because the first 700 words, you come across this guy who's been buried alive. Okay. And you're like, holy shit, what did this, and he's in a casket, and he's got a light, and he doesn't know, we don't know how he got there. We don't know, so obviously somebody's got it out for this guy. And then in the last 86 words, I explained that the guy who is buried alive was actually a pedophile, and he assaulted the daughter of a police officer, and the police officer caught up with him, drugged him, and buried him alive. So for 700 words, I made you feel bad for a pedophile. And when I put that story out, people hated me. They were like, "You motherfucker!" I'm like, "Look, that's how the story came together. What do you want me to tell you? I don't apologize for it." And somebody made a short animated film out of it. So
really,
oh
really?
Yeah.
I'll take a look at that too.
It's so that's what I do, and I'm still writing a little bit now and then, but I just don't have time, which I'm not at all complaining about, because the stuff, like, I get up in the morning now, and every day there's new horror in my email, there's new horror in here, check this story out, or here, check this short film out, or so every day I get to experience something new, which makes me very happy. And then with the TV channel I'm currently running, I'm always looking for people to come on and bring show ideas, and because it's to me, it's the best way that we can also all survive. It's like rising tide, something about boats. I don't know. The saying. I don't know. And the biggest problem I've had, and it's so funny, but it's actually kind of sad, is there are very few people out there who handle things the way that I do. And when I say that, I'm going to be 50 in a month. 1 month from today, I'm going to be 50. And when I was younger, it was all about me and my bullshit, And as I've gotten older, I come to realize that I don't want to be a king. I want to help people ascend. I want to get people, whose work really, because look, I'm a decent writer. Okay. I put out 2 books, sold maybe 100 copies. I'm not Stephen King or Clive Barker, and never claimed to be. I'm a decent writer, but I meet people all the time who have this gift, this talent that just, one of my very close partners that I work with, I told her, after reading her first book, because she jumped right in with a novel, didn't bother with short stories, she jumped right in and wrote a 400-page novel, semi-autobiographical, and it's a heart-wrenching story. And I told her, I said, well, she's like, well, what did you think? And after I said, well, I said 2 things. I said, I've never wanted to kill somebody that I've never met more than I would like to kill your parents, because fuckers. And I said, secondly, I'm like, you're already a better writer than I am. You're already a better writer than I'm ever going to be. I'm like, so the fact that I get to work with you, because she's from Missouri, so the South twangs in. so sometimes when I'm I'm one of the few people who can edit her work, because I'm one of the few people that okay, yeah, that's what she means by that. Because she's like, well, is it too hillbilly? I'm like, sometimes, yeah, it's too hillbilly. So it's the creators out there. The one thing, and it drives me crazy, because with the writer, now the filmmaker is an entirely different story, because I have seen passion. I have seen people who are going to do anything they can to get the word out there that they've got a movie out. They'll go on interviews, they'll do ads, they'll do all this stuff, because this is how we grow. And the writers can be difficult, because the writers want to write. They don't want to do the rest. They can't edit. They can't, format. They can't do any of that. But they don't want to do the interviews. They don't want to do the appearances. They don't want to do, and it's like, guys, and this is what I always tell people, like, if you're not excited about your shit, why should I be? If you can't be bothered to make a 30-second Facebook post going, hey, blah, 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 tomorrow, then what am I doing here? I can only do but so much as far as the advertising. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come right back, and we're going to talk about some more weird things going on in the world of horror today.
Can you believe it's been 30 years since the reign of terror inflicted by the infamous carjacker Mike Rivers, known as the Jacker?
He's coming back!
I gotta go.
Trust me, you don't know who you're fucking with.
Bad judgment.
Don't bother calling or coming here anymore.
That hurts. I thought we had something going.
Leaving behind a trail of devastation and despair. Countless lives were lost, and those who attempted to apprehend him were met with tragic consequences.
Feels like old times.
When will this end?
Hello, Dennis.
What do you want?
I had a dream. A nightmare. About you, the Jacker.
Just put the gun down.
Don't stop for the train. Keep on going. Better drive on by. Better drive on by. Better drive on by. Better drive on by.
Who the hell?
So,
Familiar faces and voices in that one.
yeah. And that's the thing I like is that, like, I'll talk to one person and they'll be like, hey, have you talked to so and so? And so I'll talk to so and so, and they'll be like, hey, have you talked to this person and that person? I'm like, no, but well, here. So, like, it's been very cool in that regards. So let me ask you guys, how has your work been received in the community?
As far as I mean, people seem to like the stuff that I'm in, which is nice because it makes you want to keep doing it.
Sure.
So you don't want to. I feel like you don't want to. If I'm in something that I particularly don't think is any good, it's hard for me to want to be excited to show people around me. So I try to make sure that I'm with people that I know make good stuff, that I'm going to have fun, and people are going to actually want to watch, which is the whole thing that we're working for. So.
Absolutely.
But I've had good feedback for the last few things that I've done, and I feel like we're going in the right direction here. So
excellent.
Yeah, I think the thing with indie is I think people who are into indie films get it. People who are used to just Hollywood stuff are probably not going to be the target audience a lot of the time because I mean, let's face it, we're not going to have the same production values. We're not going to have, we're not going to have the same level of acting a lot of the time. But, we've got the passion that a lot of times is missing from those Hollywood things.
Absolutely. Because well, first off, going into it, what you're working with. It's not like you can be like, oh yeah, they said it was, a $50 million budget, but if we needed 60 million, it was another 10. And while that would be nice,
Right.
one time that would be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I got some movies I could do with that kind of budget. But.
Right. Exactly.
I don't think Gary would be hiring me anymore.
Oh no, you're in anything I do if you want to be.
Oh, okay. Well, I expect that first $1 million check next year then.
Yeah.
You can be part of the entourage.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. So, okay. I don't normally do this, but there's a lot of people who are in the comments right now that are asking. So I'm going to go ahead and just shine an old spotlight for a moment. If I can find out what the hell I put on. What the hell? So
Let's see.
I have way too many folders. Way too many. Like it is insane. Because every single project has to have its own folder, but I'm not nearly as organized as I should be. Mm-hmm. I try. I keep blowing through hard drives. I keep buying hard drive. I'll never need more space. Which, I mean, we're all of an age now where we can remember when our first computers were like a 1 gig hard drive. And, and we were still using floppy disk because they were the biggest. And then it's like when the internet, when we went from 33 to 56, we're like, we'll never need to go faster than this. Yeah, sure. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you something that probably hasn't been seen by too many people in a very long time. These were made. This is one of a series of shorts. We did 2 seasons worth. The premise came from a one night smoking way too much weed. And we thought, what would be ridiculous? If there was a ninja who was trying to sneak up on you, but you heard him coming because he was wearing flip-flops. Now, when you're high, that's really funny. And so we thought, fuck it, let's do it. So from the depths of my past, here's 1 minute and 22 seconds that, pretty much wraps it up.
Really?
So yeah, there you have it. One of
That was cute.
That's funny.
25 episodes of The Worst Ninja that we shot.
Wow. Really?
It was fun. They're not. Some of them are up on YouTube. I don't have all of them anymore, and I had a falling out with my co-creator a while ago for the weirdest fucking reason. This is a kid that I had known for like 10 years, and back when Sarah Palin's husband like got into a snowmobile accident or something, I made a snarky remark about Bristol Palin, and he got all pissed off at me. I was like, he's like, why would you call her a whore? I'm like, well, she's on her third kid with 2 baby daddies. I like, but I didn't call her a whore. I called her a hypocrite. And he's like, well, you like to have sex. I'm like, yeah, but I don't get paid $250,000 a night to go out and talk to people about not having sex out of wedlock when I've got my third fucking kid from the second baby daddy. And he was like, well, that's, I'm like, oh, dude, come on, whatever. So yeah, threw 10 years of friendship out the window because Bristol Palin is a hypocrite. People are weird. So that was pretty much the end of The Worst Ninja. There was a spinoff. Well, there was 2 spinoffs of that. One of them was I have a brother. I have an imaginary brother who is an imaginary, but it's a long story. So he did a couple of things, and then a buddy of mine and I were talking one night, and he's got really bad asthma. He's had horrible asthma his entire life, and we were talking, and we were like, it's like you never see a defective monster. Like you never go into the bar and there's like some 300-pound sloppy ass vampire, shirt doesn't fit right, kind of fucking, it's like, you never see that. I'm like, you never see like a werewolf with asthma. And we went, wait. So we went out and we shot, we kind of did old school, like for the look, we were trying to go for like the Universal look. The chase and everything through the woods, and yeah, they're out there. It's the internet. The internet's forever. So I'm sure you can find them if you want. So anyway, enough of that crap. So Tim, what has been? Have you had a moment yet where you found yourself in a room with people, or you were at a convention and somebody came up to you and was like, oh, hey, shit, man, I know you, I saw you in such and such, or like, how are the fans? Like, do you guys do conventions? You get out and meet the folks?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of people, there's some in recenter times. It's funny when people talk about a lot of the projects and bring up scenes or dialogue and stuff. And I mean, I remember a lot of things. I really do. But there's things that I'm like, sometimes I lose track. I'm like, what movie was that again? Or they know the movies better than I do. I guess it's really weird.
I was in that. What are you talking about?
You're in so many movies, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, and a lot of things happen in the moment, and I catch a lot of rough edits, and I've seen the films, and and then things change, or I see different cuts of films, and eventually I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Or sometimes they evolve on different platforms too, but just again to have people recognize situations or just patterns of things. I mean, sometimes we, like if I have certain hats that I wear in a lot of different movies, or, and people are like, oh, there's that hat again, or just, little nuancy things. And it's just fun and part of the whole lore of it all. But yeah, no, it's with all the movies been out and coming out and on all the different platforms and stuff, people are catching on or have their favorites and stuff like that. Some movies I over the time I didn't think there's certain projects that I thought wouldn't resonate as well as they do, or I always know that you never know what's going to happen with anything you do, like no matter what it is, whether it's just life or projects or any kind of thing. But so I've gotten used to that you do it and then whatever happens. But it's sometimes I feel like, oh, this one's going to be the big one, or this one's really going to stand out, and then it kind of goes off somewhere, and then other ones were like, nobody's ever going to get to, and then people love it. So it's always strange.
Now, as far as speaking of platforms, myself personally, I've the last few years, I've been very impressed by the horror library that Tubi has been creating. I found a lot of really interesting films I had never heard of, and not even recent stuff, like going back to the 70s and 80s. Some of it.
Oh yeah.
And but our movie, the movie that me and my director made, were on Tubi. What's your preference as far as streaming platforms? Like, what do you, like Gary, as a director, what do you want to see? Like, where would you like? I mean, obviously, everywhere would be.
Everywhere would be right. So I'm actually a Luddite on this. I never stream anything. Anything I watch is either on broadcast TV or it's on a disc. I've got like multiple Blu-ray and DVD players, and I think I've got something like 2,000 or 3,000 discs in my collection. So
wow.
I'm a Luddite.
All right.
Wow.
Andrew?
I mean, I also have like a lot of like DVDs and Blu-rays. I'm a big VHS collector because I love the old school look of that, and because it's what I grew up on. And so if I'm at like at a thrift store, or, convention, and somebody's got some VHS tapes that I don't have, especially horror related, I try to pick them up. But I mean, watching streaming is great as well, just because you can get a bunch of people together. And, yeah, absolutely. It's only a couple of bucks, and everybody can buy food and shit and have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Tim? What's your go-to? You a Netflix guy, Tubi? Who's?
Well, I would say. I mean, I appreciate all the formats, and over the years too. It's amazing. Again, all the changes of technology. Just in a short amount of time, I'm always blown away by it, and still always wondering what could be next. I mean, it's just constant change every day.
Right in the brain, they're gonna right into your brain.
Right, that's
gonna be the next one.
I believe, yes, absolutely.
I'll take a pass on that one.
But as far as I like to watch a lot of just quick stuff on YouTube, and all the different streaming sites are great. You were right or correct with being able to find all kinds of classics and stuff on a bunch of, and there's all different, not even just the mainstream streams, but there's sometimes these odds and end little smaller ones, and you can find some old classics and stuff on those too.
Yeah, it's the physical media, the arguments now, and I understand it. I've seen them. I've seen it coming for years. I mean, I grew up as a Star Wars kid, so the Star Wars that we saw is not the Star Wars that my kids saw. But it's getting out there now, and one of the things I think that we have a lack of, and I'm sure in certain places there isn't, but where I grew up in Connecticut, we had an art theater, we had an art house, and they would run Rocky Horror every Saturday night. But
nice.
We would see imports, we would see 3D porn, We would see, I mean, there was just all kinds of, and they would play it. My friend's mom, who ran the place, threw Linda Blair out of the bathroom for doing cocaine. You know, so, you know, so, but the art house, you know, was free to play that stuff. And if they only sold 50 tickets, you know, a night, they were happy because the movies that they were showing were so different. I remember them playing Legend of the Overfiend, which, if you've never seen, is just fucking bonkers anime. Like I had no idea what it was, and then they were like, "Oh, they're playing this," so I was happened to be there, and I was like, "All right," and I was like, "No, something really wrong with the something weird in the land of Japanese animation over there." Speaking of animation, any thoughts, preferences, any? Would you like to do, like, what would you think about doing an animated short?
I don't know. You'd have to find a good animator.
Yeah. Well,
I think. Well, I mean, I'm down for anything, anytime. But there's a. I mean, I more of a live filmmaker at the moment, mostly, but I know there's a lot of stuff out there now that I'm seeing all types of people doing little skits and stuff with all kinds of new technologies, and so I'm blown away. So I could probably look into that and see what we could come up with something like that.
There's some really interesting people out there, and the way that because it's not just hand drawn anymore. You know, all of the computer work, it's opened up the window for a lot of people who, you know, like myself, like I couldn't draw to save my life. Like it's one of those things where it's the one tool that I don't have in my bag, which kind of pisses me off, to be honest with you, because it's one that I could really use. But you know, it's other than that, it's you know, because I do, you know, I like, it's easy to think animated because, you know, you can knock it out and you get some. I'm gonna share something with you guys. This is from an animator named Wes Brispos or Brispos. He's from Australia, and let's give it a minute to load here. And like, this is, come on, man. Some days it's so slow. You know what? While we're waiting for that, I got an idea.
I was going to say one thing. Sure. I have technically done some animation. In the yellow wallpaper, there's some animation, but it's not like drawings. I used some still pictures and some little public domain stuff and then animated that. And in the Vampire Maid, there's a sequence that I animated using a bat animation and some pictures and some other stuff, and animated that. So technically speaking, it is animation, but it's not traditional animation.
Right. Well, it's
the beauty of filmmaking is the experimentation.
Yeah.
So this is our buddy Wes. He's good people. He's working on a project with me right now. This is one of the funniest things, though. One of the funniest things you'll see.
That's funny.
That
was good. That was very good.
I dig Wes. He's got a great sense of humor. He's a fun guy.
Yeah, that was cute.
I think it's time to play everybody's favorite game. This is Straight Fire.
What if CAT really spelled dog?
All right, gentlemen, it is time to play Straight Fire. It's 5 random questions, no wrong answers. Don't think about it too long because, quite honestly, it doesn't really matter. So I'll ask the questions, and then each one of you can give me your answer. We'll start with Andrew down here in the bottom. Andrew, if dogs wore pants, would they wear them on 2 legs or 4 legs?
Let's say 2.
Okay. Tim?
Be easier to go to the bathroom that way.
Yes.
Oh wow. I'll go with 4.
4. Gary?
I got to go with Andy. It's 2.
All right. All right. My favorite answer to that question has been 4, but it's pants, and then it's the midriff, and then it's a little jacket on the front too. So
Okay.
very, very classy, very elegant. All right. So Tim, your favorite guilty pleasure movie?
Wow. There's a lot of those. Holy cow. Holy moly. Cheapers. I can't. I'm trying to. Wow.
Admit it. Admit it. You have 50 Shades.
All right. Tommy Boy.
Ooh. Ouch.
Tommy likes wiggy.
Gary?
I don't think I have a guilty pleasure because I own up to all of it. You know, I just let it out there.
Fair enough. Andrew?
Mine is probably Scream 1. I've seen it a trillion times. It's my favorite all-time horror movie, and I could watch it all day and not be sick of it.
Oh wait,
Really?
If I can go back,
Wow.
Sure.
That's crazy. That's
the one everybody absolutely hates, and my wife hates it too. And I love this movie because I love the comic book Howard the Duck.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I have Howard the Duck on my media server.
Perfect too. How about Roger Rabbit? Just to,
that's not a guilty pleasure though. That's a really good movie.
For me,
yeah, it is true too.
Depends on the day of the week, but for me,
Right.
it boils down
Yeah,
to
Roger Rabbit's kind of silly in a way too.
Grease 2,
Yeah.
or and this one, Jaws the Revenge.
Okay. Okay.
Jaws the Revenge
That's tough.
taught us so much about sharks, and I came away feeling like an oceanographer, whatever the hell that word is. Marine biologist. There you go. Marine biologist. All right. Gary, you are in the woods. You are in an abandoned cabin. There's a book that is bound in human flesh and inked in human blood. What do you do with it?
Leave it the hell alone.
Andrew?
Knowing how dumb I am, I'm probably going to open it and see what's in there.
Tim?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
You're in a cabin in the woods. You're in a cabin in the woods.
Yep.
You find a book bound in human flesh and inked in human blood. What do you do with it?
Oh my gosh.
Come on. Get a little wild here.
Antiques Roadshow.
eBay.
make a TikTok video with utilizing it, something like that. A little short video using it in the skit.
Okay, Gary, we have to do that. We have to make that. We have to film a short, an Antiques Roadshow style short, where somebody brings in the Necronomicon. That's gotta happen. That's gotta happen. Question number 4. You're sitting on death row. We're back to Andrew. You're sitting on death row. What is your last meal?
My last meal. Oh man.
Jeez. Gosh.
Probably a New York strip with mashed potatoes, corn, and bread from Texas Roadhouse.
God. That is good bread.
It's freaking good.
Tim?
This is tough. These are the hardest questions ever. Stuffed crust pizza, pepperoni pizza.
There you go.
with cheese in the crust. Eat everything, man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Gary?
I'm going with 5 pounds of lobster tail and lots of butter.
Wow. Sounds good.
Yeah. Apparently, if you work for certain departments in this government, you get to spend that kind of money on lobster tails. But that's neither here nor there. And the last question, and I ask everybody this question, and once you answer, I'll explain why.
Okay.
Tim, when you're at the grocery store, can
Mhm.
you reach the items on the top shelf?
Somewhat. If they're behind, if I'm being weird and picking something behind something or something, I might need to figure it out. But generally speaking, I can get most stuff, I guess.
Gary?
I'm with Tim. I gotta for something. If I'm reaching back on the top shelf, I gotta stand on the bottom shelf to get it. But yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
And Andrew?
Yeah, I feel like I do this a lot actually, and I can get anything off the top shelf unless it's like, way back there. Then I kind of go through my head. Okay, is this bottom shelf going to support me, or am I going to end up owing Walmart some money?
Sure.
So usually I'll get like some other item or something like a broom, and I'll come back
Yeah.
and knock it over, and then
Yeah, right, or something.
So
Or
the
use
reason
another box to.
The reason I ask is because one of the very first interviews that I ever did on a podcast, somebody asked me that question, and I'm 6'4", so the top shelf. I spend 10% of my life helping old ladies at the grocery store. Just and they're always so nice about it, and they're like, oh, could you please? Of course I can, ma'am. It's not your fault that you're 80 and you're 3.5 feet tall. I got you covered. What else you need? Anything else? Let me follow you around the store. So if you ever hear from anybody that I'm a top shelf guy, that's why. So let's take one more quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what is in the future for this wild group of men here.
The storm is coming. Not of rain or wind, but of fire and judgment. The word of God warns us plainly. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. The day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation.
All right, that is the Anointed, I believe. Yes, and that'll be coming out soon. See, this is the cool. This is why I love my job, because I get people send me that stuff and they're like, check this out. So I have a note here from the boss over at Blood Pact, and I don't know if he wants me to make the announcement or if he wants to jump on and make the announcement. So let's give him a second here.
He said he might come over.
See what he wants to do. Okay, I can make the announcement, he says. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is breaking news from the good folks over at Blood Pact Films. Others, Doom for the Stars, will be available for Blu-ray and DVD pre-sale starting March 20th. So that is next week. So that is terribly exciting stuff.
I didn't know that's. See, I'm hearing that for the first time right here.
See, so there we go. See, So excellent. And once we get links and everything, we'll make sure to throw them up for you guys so we can get more
Thank you.
eyes, more better is what I always say.
Thank you.
And so what's next? What are you what's coming up?
Well, we got that coming up, which we haven't really talked about that too much. Which, I mean, that's a pretty cool movie. I think it's science fiction meets horror, and one of the things I think we did with that, since a lot of it is remote roles, and I know we all have seen indie movies where there are a lot of remote roles, and it seems like a lot of them don't have anything to do with the actual movie. Right. I didn't want that. If I was going to do remote roles, I wanted it all to tie into the story. I'm a storyteller. And so I thought, well, we've got the basics of this is we've got this massive threat to Earth and to humanity. But if we're doing these remote roles, let's look at the human side of it. Let's look at how people are going to react to that. And so we've got a lot of people talking. Some of them don't have a clue what they're talking about, but they're sort of making it up based on what they see, which is exactly what we see in the real world. It's tried to make it very much like what would happen in our world. Right. And you've got some people have some ideas of what's going on and they're right, but they're wrong about other things. And it's just sort of watching it unfold with all of these people. And you've got a government that's trying to do the best thing for everyone, because it's actually a benevolent government, but sometimes those things aren't exactly the nicest things that they do. Sure. And that's sort of the focus I went with it. And it's a Lovecraftian thing. The threat is definitely Lovecraftian cosmic horror, because you've got this probe is launched and actually Tim's the one who launches it, and it at this object that they find, and then the object turns and heads towards the station, and then starts heading towards Earth, and it's how everybody reacts to that and what happens with that.
Cool, very cool.
And so that's coming out. Like, we now know when that's coming out.
Pre-sales start next week.
Yes,
which is outstanding. Andrew, anything cooking?
Congrats.
Yeah, I've got so I have a movie called Bad Apples that just got released a few weeks ago. It's on Prime right now. Stars a couple of Scream Queens, Lynn Lowry, who plays my mom, and Lisa Wilcox, I adopt her child. So that was super fun.
Nice.
It's getting really good reviews. So if you guys take a gander at that. I'm shooting a big time movie called Red, White, and Bloody in September out in Nevada. So looking super forward to that. It's kind of dealing with all the things going on in our nation right now. So it's super controversial, and I think people are going to like it.
Nothing wrong with controversy, my friend. We're here to stir it.
Absolutely not.
Especially we're the horror community. We should be scaring people. And they're like, oh, well, because of this, but no. You can't take that. It's instinctual, it's primal. And who was it? Somebody was like, you take the girl to go see Dracula because the girl will get scared and she'll, grab your hand. And that's how, that's what those horror movies were all about, was making these connections. And I'm going to be out. I'm actually moving, and I think like in less than a month. I'm moving out to Arizona. Not that I want to live in the desert, but the deal was way too good to pass up. But it's going to be good because it's going to put me closer to the folks I work with in LA, people I work with in Phoenix and everything, and a lot of desert horror movies have been being shot lately, so it'll be good. I'll get out there and meet with some folks, and then more connections and getting people together and being like, hey man, you're doing this and you're doing that, why don't we try to see if we can make this happen? And so far it's been very good. I've met some great folks, and I certainly thank you gentlemen for your time tonight. It has been it's always educational for me because I'm not on a movie set. Like, I wrote a movie, we made the movie. I do, I create the trailer, I create the ad, I do this, I do that, but I'm not actually ever making the movie. I'm just the writer. But so it's cool to hear the side of the other sides of that particular part of the business, because once it leaves the writer's hands, it's up to folks like you guys to take it and be like, okay, this is what we're going to do with this. And I've been very fortunate to work with some very cool indie directors. We've got a lot of stuff coming up, getting ready to launch a whole new concept for all of us. And it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a really, really good year. So before we head out, go ahead.
I would say before we get to Tim, because I'm sure Tim's got a million things coming, let me just put out a couple more things that we got coming along. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I mentioned we're doing those 5 shorts. We're filming those next month. And then we've got 2 other features I'm planning to film this year. We've got a kaiju spoof movie, which we're going to do it like it's a 1950s black and white film. We're going to just dub it completely wrong. I mean, everybody's going to be reading lines, but we're going to have them not match at all. And it's we're going to shoot it like a real kaiju movie, but it's going to be totally over the top, silly, ridiculous.
Right on.
And so that one's going to be the coming of Kaiju Bob. And then we're also going to be shooting probably this fall, and I'm hoping to bring Tim in on this, at least as a remote, get him in another one of ours, is we're going to do it's a combo paranormal / slasher movie. And Andy came up with the title for this once he knew what the script was. It's called We're Not Alone. And that's going to be filming. Andy's going to have the lead in that one. We're going to be filming that this fall, I think.
Nice. And Tim, you are a very busy man. So what do you, what's immediately next on the agenda?
Yeah, trying to think. Well, right now, that film Kaleidoscope is playing at Spectrum Theater in Albany, New York this month, or it's been playing for a few months in the theater there. So that's been good. We have that situation will probably expand to more theaters before it's said and done, and that project will most likely end up streaming very soon too.
Cool. After
the theatrical run. And then I'm trying to think what else like immediately is going on. Just had a couple of films come out. One called You're All Doomed. That's on Tubi Fawsome. I think Prime, Google Play, and YouTube Premium. Another one is Dummy. That's on a bunch of those as well. Tubi Fawsome, Apple, Prime.
Let me just say, I love You're All Doomed. I just watched that a couple weeks ago. That's such a good movie.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that came out very well. Another movie, just to mention, that's kind of in a bunch of things right now is a one called Battle Beyond Mars. That's on Cinema Epoch, Tubi, Fawsome, Plex, Apple, and maybe Prime. So that's a bunch right now. There's tons more.
Now,
Blaze Tudor has a lot of films that have just come out as well too.
Love Blaze. Had a great talk with him the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I shot a scene for Santa Claus 2 for him.
Nice. He's I can't believe how talented that kid is.
Oh, I know.
Beyond his years and his years.
When I was 19, I had my head up my ass. I wasn't making feature films.
It's crazy.
I really I had a great conversation the other night, and the folks over at Blood Pact have been really great because Shane gets what we're trying to do here, and he's 100% behind you guys, and that is the one thing that I like. I bring his name up to people, and nothing but nice things to say.
I love Shane. I sent the movie to him, and like a week and a half later, I think I got something back from him, and he said, "Oh, I love the movie. I want to release it." He's like, "I've been wanting to do some more science fiction stuff. This will be perfect." And he has been absolutely great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
change. We talk on the regular. We've got a few things that we're kicking back and forth.
Beautiful.
Because that's the whole thing for me. It's like I have this ability, and I don't know how it happened, that when I get together with creative people, inevitably collaborations happen. And those collaborations usually end up being pretty damn good. Not to break my arm, pat myself on the back, but so I don't know what it is. I don't know how it happened, but I got really good at this. And I love talking to folks, and I think that's what a large part of it is. It's like I just love talking to people, and I love hearing about their passion and why you do what you do, what gets you out of bed and on the set every day when you're shooting, and that kind of thing. To me, that you can't fake that. And I've seen people try, and it's obvious. So, gentlemen, I'm very excited, and I want to thank you all for coming out. Now, where can we find you online?
For me, I would look at spookyventures.com or garyhillauthor.com, and you can get to all my stuff from there. Okay. Those are good places, and you can get in touch with me at keepitspooky at spookyventures.com.
Awesome. Tim?
Yeah, I mean, Gary will be my agent. No, I mean, reach out to Gary and we'll make it happen. No, no, I mean, Facebook, I guess, but also like, just in general, like just Google me or IMDb, and a lot of the stuff is on all those streaming platforms. And so there I am. Just type me in, and Tubi has lots of films.
Very nice. Very nice.
And I'm sure you can type us all in on IMDb too.
Yes, that too. All of us.
Nice. Andrew?
Yeah, I'm mainly a Facebook guy. It's the platform that I use the most with communications with people. I do have an Instagram. I'm not on there a ton, but people keep adding me for some reason, which is cool. Yeah. Like they said, IMDb is great. Yeah, all the stuff's on there. I'm adding stuff like weekly, whether it be movies, pictures, different things, and people can keep checking that out. But yeah, Facebook's my main thing. If anybody wants to hit me up, I will gladly respond.
Awesome.
Speaking of Facebook, I would say one thing. If anybody's wanting to get involved with indie movies, I don't know about you guys, your experience, but my experience is almost everything gets done on Facebook. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever gotten an offer for to be in somebody's film when it didn't come through Facebook Messenger.
Right? Yeah, it is a good.
Much gets done on there, and it's like if you're not on Facebook, you're missing out on opportunities.
Yeah.
You guys are the best. Your films make it easy for me, so thank you. That's from our good friend over at Blood Pack.
Awesome, man. Definitely.
It's guys. It's going to be a hell of a year, and
I know.
There's some great stuff coming up, and we'll talk, and because I can already, the brain's already. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that soon. And whenever you guys want to come on, you have something to pitch, you want to just come out and bullshit about horror, my table is always open.
Always good.
You feel free to hit me up, and we can do. I got a couple of game shows I'm working on for the TV channel. I've been working with some really interesting people, and there's a big plan, and once that big plan launches, we're gonna change everything. It's gonna be great.
I like those sounds.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
So we're going to go ahead and go out on this last weird ass commercial. Folks, I am Christopher Pelton, the mad scientist of media here at THC Limitless and Yakuza TV. Mr. Gary Hill, Mr. Andrew Labs. I fucked that up the second time.
You got it right the first
time.
It's better than some of the stuff people call me.
And Mr. Tim Hatch, gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time, folks. We'll see you next time on THC Time. I'm out of here.
This is an invitation.
You guys.
This is an invitation.
Hey, you want to say something really scary?
Tell me, what use is there for a butterfly with no wings? sing, come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse. Obey.
Please help!
Run. Obey. The eyes of the fool blinded by pride. Now the devil is knocking on your door. We live in a world where society has poisoned the souls of men. Obey. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. We're coming.